Good evening, everybody. Yes, that is defeat in my voice. Welcome to the Week 9 recap, the Week 10 preview for Warrenton's finest fantasy football league. I am your host. I am your commissioner. I am the sole proprietor of the last place in our league. And it's just one of those years, folks. But it was one of those years last year. So to have one of those years 2 years in a row is starting to feel a lot like normal football fandom for me. And it's making me wonder, what's the grand meaning in life? We all know it's not this. And we know what the answer is. So thank the Lord that fantasy football does not matter. So, all right, but let's get into that. Enough introspection and bringing down the mood for the room. So, I engaged in my second career trade, and let's see how it panned out for me. I traded away Achan to Carlos, my fellow last place companion, and it didn't work out great for him. Achan scored 13 points, but I must say it worked out very poorly for me. I was playing Mike, who was 4-4, one of the highest scoring teams in the league, and Mike was having pretty bad luck as well. I'm not saying I'm unique in this position. I'm just unique in my position of last place. But projected, the game was supposed to be, it's supposed to lose 116 to Mike, 116, me 104. And it was close. It was close because neither team was doing very well. Mike scored 93, I scored 80. And if you look at how if I hadn't done the trade, here's how life would have been different. I would have had my third win, and let me tell you why. I wouldn't have started Alvin Kamara, who got me 0.2 points. Instead, I would have started Achan, which would be plus 13 points. Already there, I'm at 93.4, which beats Mike. But on top of that, I played Keenan Allen, who I wouldn't have had, who got me 5.1 points. So I got Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift in the trade. Did I mention DeAndre Swift was a scratch? He went from questionable to out the same week that I got him. So he went from a projected of like 14 points to 0. So that was great. So that's why I had to start Kamara. And instead of playing DJ Moore, which I have the last 8 weeks in a row, who got me 20 points on my bench, I played Keenan Allen, who got me 5 points. So my trade netted me a total of 5 points to Carlos's 13. And I missed out on playing 33 points that I typically would have played had the trade not occurred. Congratulations, Carlos. You win week 1 post-trade life, and I am just so thrilled for you. So congratulations. Mike moves up to 5-4. I fall to 2-7. It's not looking great, folks. All right, Dan Pond taking on Gone Fishing. This one was just another stinker. Matt didn't put up a lot of points, but cruises to an easy 101-82 victory. Any highlights here, folks? Any highlights? Nope. That Javonte Williams trade, not looking too great. I'll need to, closer to the end of the season, we'll do a breakdown of the plus-minus points for all the trade proposals and how they actually worked out for everybody. Dan, could you have won if you'd played different people? No. No, you couldn't have. So maybe that makes you feel a little bit better. So congrats to Matt. 7-2. Dan, 5-4. That soft schedule finally didn't pay off for you. All right, next up, slightly above average, Jason taking on Brandon. And Jason, this is a tough loss, man. 117 you scored. You would have beaten half the league, but you played Brandon. And Brandon, who's one of the highest scoring teams in the league, I can't talk tonight or any night. 124 Brandon to 117 Jason. And looking at benches, Jason, really nothing you could have done. I mean, maybe you don't play the Raiders defense. They got you 1 point, but you didn't have another defense on your bench, so what are you going to do? Puka Nacua, he's back, did a great game. Yeah, no, you played pretty much all the right people, and a couple of people outscored, but only by 1 or 2 points, and that would not have equaled what you needed. So congrats to Brandon. Patrick Mahomes, not a great week, but McCaffrey, 32 points. Marvin Harrison Jr., the dude I gave up on last year, and you didn't give up on this year. He's starting to turn it around. 19 points from him. Everybody on your team, Brandon, scored double digits except for Addison and Brandon Aubrey on the Cowboys. Go figure. Can we just talk about how kickers shouldn't be able to kick 68-yard field goals? It's just strange. It's literally turning it into football, and I don't know how I feel about it. All right, so Brandon is 5-4. Jason is 4-5. Next up, Steven. Steven riding a pretty big win streak. I think of 3 games, perhaps 3 or 4 games. Was 4-4. Greg was 4-4, riding some losing streak. But Greg putting up a very strong performance behind 29 from Sam Darnold, 18 from Laporta, 18 from Kyron Williams, 28 again from Rico Dowdle. The Cowboys are just so stupid. Just Jerry Jones, you're such an idiot. You let so many people walk. And Rico Dowdle this year is cranking. I think that's his third. He's 3 games of nearly, 2 games in a week in a row of 32.9. And then this week, 28.1. Yeah, Rico Dowdle crushing it. The Panthers are like, they're not doing too poorly. Anyways, Greg is now 4-5. Steven is 5-4. So congrats to Greg. Maybe you can change that really creepy emoji or picture of yourself. AI. How do we feel about that, guys? I don't feel so great. Hannah. I don't understand. I think we can look. Let's just look real quick. Let's just take a look. All right, so week 6, Hannah, you scored 83 points. And you won somehow. Week 7, Hannah, you scored 52 points. Week 8, Hannah, you scored 149 points. Week 9, Hannah, I don't think I've ever said your name this many times and this incorrectly. 47 points. 47. I'm going to bring up something pretty funny. I was going to save this for later, but this was for the prop bet. Matt, congratulations. You did win. But I just wanted to say, so again, the prop bet. So congrats to Michael. 127, very good performance from you. 127, 38 points for your tight end. Incredible. 38.3 from Brock Bowers, a tight end. Not fair. Not fair, Hannah said. That's basically her whole team's score. Hannah, you had 9, 0.5, 2.2, 1.6, 8.9, 7.1, 6.6, 7.0, 5. That was your team. And on your bench, I mean, you could have played Stafford. He would have gotten you 17 more points. You would have finished with 64 points, but that's still half of what Michael had. There was nothing you could do. Your team, I mean, granted, this was your bad bye week, I think, with Saquon, Bucky, and Brees all being out, but holy smokes, man. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. The prop bet. The prop bet was where you take your highest scoring player that started with your lowest scoring player who started. You add that up, and that equals the highest score of that is the winner. Hannah, your score of that, when you add your highest score and your lowest person, I wrote it down, 9.52, which isn't great. Matt got 41.7, Michael 41.3, and Carlos 41. So that was a very close bet. Congratulations to Matt. We're all thrilled that you're 7-2 and won a prop bet. You really deserved it. So congrats there, and congrats to Michael moving up to 6-3. Hannah falling to 4-5, and when I played you, I think you scored a lot of points against me, so I'm still pretty bitter about that. The last matchup of Week 9 was Sean taking on my trade partner, and boy, oh boy, was it unnecessary. You didn't even need Achan. You could have won without him. 134. You took home, almost took home the highest scoring team of the week, slightly edged out by Greg's 137. But 134 to Sean, 103. Sean falls to 4-5. Carlos falls upwards to 3-6, and that, my friends, is our scoreboard. So when we look at the standings, we've got Gone Fishing at 7-2, Michael Unlimited Vetoes at 6-3, Chat GB Lee at 5-4, Dan Pond 5-4, Team Midnight 5-4, Steve 5-4. Creature, slightly above average, and the Queen, all 4 and 5. Carlos, 3 and 6, and I am 2 and 7. Not ideal. I don't like where I'm at right now, but what are you going to do? So let's take a look at week 10. Carlos, now's the actual, now's the trick, now's the test to see who can come out ahead. Right now, projected Jeff Boy's 112 to Carlos's 107. But, you know, DeAndre Swift is probably going to go from being questionable to out again. And then I'll have to play Kamara, who will get me minus points. And you'll probably beat me. So right now, 112 to Carlos's 107. I need this, Carlos. I really do. 7 games in a row. It really wears on you. Next up, Matt taking on Jason. Matt's projected 110 to Jason's 108. A 7 and 2 taking on a 4 and 5. Next up, a 5 and 4. Brandon taking on 5 and 4. Steven. Who would have thought? Brandon, I feel like your team is so good, but you're 5 and 4. Right now, projected 114 to Steven's 90. Make sure you check your lineups there, folks. Greg, 4 and 5, taking on Hannah, 4 and 5, and you two. I feel like you guys should be like 1 and 8, except for Greg, maybe 2 and 7. But 116, Greg's projection to Hannah's 113. We'll see about that, Hannah. Next up, Sean taking on Michael. 6 and 3, Michael. 4 and 5, Sean. Projected. Michael, I think you consistently have the highest projected points every week. It's insane. 124 to Sean's 104. And then Mike projected 120 to Dan Pon 88. And Dan, you consistently have the lowest projected points, and somehow you still have won more than you've lost. That is our Week 10 preview. Our prop bet for this week is Glory Hog. This one is for the team whose running back has the most touchdowns that week, but the lowest amount of yards. So these are for the people that you always root against, because you've got the workhorse who gets you all the way down to the 1 yard line, and then someone else sneaks in and gets all the touchdowns. So this is a weird one. So we're looking for running back with the most touchdowns, lowest amount of yards. If we have a tie well, there shouldn't be a tie. If there's a tie with somehow identical amount of touchdowns and identical amount of rushing yards, the tiebreaker goes to the team who wins. Let's say that, the team who wins. If both teams lose, then it's for the highest scoring team. We've got a triple tiebreaker. Okay, folks, that is it. Make sure you check your lineups. Unless you're playing me, Carlos, please take out half your lineup. I still probably will lose, and that would not be fun. I just wanted to point out one last thing. When Mike plays against whoever he played against in week 8, who did you play against, Mike? Oh yeah, Sean, and you almost beat him. You played Lamar Jackson, who got you 0 points because he was a late scratch. And then you played Lamar, and Lamar gets you 25 against me. And it's just like, yeah, I couldn't have been the one to play you on the week that you didn't start someone. It had to be Sean. Sean, of all people. Ugh. All right, have a great week, guys.